So the Bears lose another game in the season. All I gotta say is the Bears gotta stop their sponsorship with Butterfinger because it is not helping this team at all. Also, I want to say that Trubisky showed some signs of promise throughout the game. He moved out of the pocket, something I haven't seen within the past 4 weeks of the season, so that's good. His pocket presence was there. He was able to extend plays. It was pretty hard for him. You got to give him credit though. He went up against a damn good defense, damn good line. He didn't do bad. He didn't do phenomenal. I feel like people were putting him on such a high stool or high pedestal, like they expected him to do crazy things. Me being one of them. So that game basically showed me, like, it's going to be a long process. He's going to have growing pains of sorts. But he did show some good signs. The only thing is he does not have wide receiver help. Marcus Wheaton cannot catch a cold, man. Brought in from Pittsburgh. Has not caught a single catch in 5 games. And he is a starting receiver. And he has not caught a single ball. Granted, he would have caught. There was one play, but it got held. It got called on a holding call. But if it weren't for that penalty that it got called on, he would have actually had a good catch for a first down, and it would have been his first catch of the season. But Marcus Wheaton, stroke of bad luck for him, didn't end up getting a catch at all today or yesterday. And as much as I want to talk about Marcus Wheaton not being able to catch, Deion Sims ain't much better, to be honest, because he dropped a few passes. It's just a overall sort of phenomenon that the Bears are going through this year with drop passes, the injury bug, and horrible play calling. There's just too many drop passes for this game. There is no reason the Vikings should have won this game. There's no reasons the Falcons should have won that game against, the Bears. They could have been 3-2 right now, but, just bad play calling, bad placement of the balls. This game, more importantly, was a lot of the calls for the penalties. Like, there was offensive pass interference on Trey McBride when he pushed off of Xavier Rhodes, I believe. I don't know if that was really an offensive pass interference. I didn't really believe that was. But what triggered me was later in the game, one of the receivers for the Vikings actually did the same exact thing. And no call. And they got the first down plus more. Another thing we are suffering with is the linebacker position. Timu's out. Trevathan is out for suspension for another game. Jarrell Freeman is out. We just have everybody out. I don't even know the guy that was in the last game. Was it Bullard? I believe it was Anderson that was in last. I'm not sure too much on that one. But he was not really doing that good of a job. But you can't expect much. He is the 5th guy in. So we got to get some more linebackers, I guess. I feel bad because I love John Timu. I'm a big Timu kind of guy, but he went down with a leg injury, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Also, something that a lot of Bears fans have been talking about and that I've mentioned a few times in previous videos are Fox and Company need to get out of Chicago because they are not doing well. I mean, the only person doing well is Pace with the draft picks. Fangio is doing all right with the defense. And Rodgers is doing pretty damn good with the special teams because
Marcus Sherrill standing back. It's a fake. And it's on target to Benny Cunningham. Still on his feet. He may score. Touchdown, Chicago.
Pat O'Donnell, my guy. But Fox has not really been doing much for us. He is a defensive-minded coach, but he's also a very stubborn coach. And the difference between the Vikings and the Bears in this game was the Vikings knew when to sit Bradford out. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Fox and Logan's were booted out of Chicago by the end of the year. It will surprise me if either A, they get fired before the season is over, or B, they actually stay in for another year. I don't want Dowell Loggins in because he has to rely on these gimmicky ass sets like that 2-point conversion with the pitches and the jet sweeps and whatnot. He has to rely on those plays. We can't rely on gimmicks the entire time. And speaking of gimmicks, Tariq Cohen, man, if he's going to be doing what he does on the field, he might as well be going to Dancing with the Stars, because there is no room or no time for him to be doing all kinds of flashy shit. But not going to lie, if I was there, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I understand why he's trying to do it. He's trying to keep the play alive. But you can move side to side and whatnot. That's all right. But once you start going backwards, that is a big gray area. That is a huge no-no. And he did that a lot this game. And, you know, he kind of killed my fantasy. But we're not going to talk about that. All he needs to do is he just needs to run north and south. That's literally all he needs to do. If he wants to be a little flashy, he can be flashy with, as long as he's going north. As long as he's going north, he can be as flashy as he wants. But just do not, you cannot go backwards as a running back, because that is going to be complete trouble for you. And very rarely does it ever pay out for somebody when they go backwards and then forwards again. So yeah, like I was saying earlier in the video, the main thing, besides the wide receivers not being able to catch anything, were the penalties. We got a lot of penalties that stopped a potential touchdown run. Alright guys, so that's it for my post-game discussion. Right now, I'm going to discuss about who I think the MVP and the clutch player of the week are. So the MVP of tonight's game is, but I wish it was Trubisky. I was having Trubisky up there for even before the game started, but it unfortunately was not Trubisky. He did show good signs, but didn't make the cut. Tonight's, or I say tonight like it's Monday, but it's actually Tuesday when I'm recording this. But the game's MVP, in my opinion, was definitely Leonard Floyd with 2 sacks. The sack in the end zone for that safety.
3-man rush. All kind of time, and now he's out of it. And down.
Was key. He had another key sack for a big loss. Him and Akeem Hicks had a lot of good tackles behind the line of scrimmage. But it had to go to Leonard Floyd because of that safety. And Leonard Floyd is just a stud, man. That guy, they were saying the whole time, oh, he's just so skinny, you know? But it's whatever, man. As long as he can get the job done. He is pretty thin for a linebacker, but hey, like I just said, if he gets the job done, if he can get the tackles and sacks, I don't care if he's my weight, okay? And the clutch player of the week, making the second week in a row being on this list. Well, last week was the MVP, but you know what I mean. It is Pat O'Donnell with the touchdown. But anyways, there you have it. The whole post-game discussion, MVP, clutch player of the game, things like that. Let me know what you guys think of the game in the comment section down below. Who your guys' MVP, who your clutch player of the week could possibly be. And I'll have a video out later in the week discussing what I think the Bears could possibly do against the Ravens. It's going to take a little bit of time because it's the Ravens. When's the last time the Bears actually versed the Ravens? There's not much for me to talk about, really. Because I don't really pay attention to the Ravens too much. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And I'll see you guys then. But until then, bear down.